Hello and welcome to another episode of SoFly. My name is Mitch and this is Aldo.
Hello.
And we're recording another episode here today.
If you're on YouTube, I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question regardless, but you can see what I'm talking about on YouTube. Do you sleep with your sleeping bag on top of your bed?
So I don't. I have that out right now for a couple reasons. One, I gave it a good wash. It's been in the rucksack. It's just been like, it smells like a basement. And so I cleaned it. But then I put it out to dry and then my cats have been sleeping on it. And like sleeping in it and like loving it. And I'm like, dang, well, I don't have the heart to put it away. Same with all these various sweaters that they just kind of like will go
you
on.
Can't do that to Archers and Rick.
I can't. So I have to leave it out until they decide that is no longer a bed for them. And that could be years. So,
Well, I mean,
is what
you're not living in your parents' basement for years.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll see. That's it is kind of rad. I don't know if anyone else out there is like living in the old parents' basement in the 30s, but it's pretty sick. I don't know. You get coffee. There's always coffee up there.
I mean, it does sound awesome. My mom's apartment's pretty small, though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, they got a good basement down here. I gotta just like get a different background going because I got a very like the.
It's temporary though. People should know that it's temporary. If you're watching
the home sense art, like the home sense lamps and stuff like that. It's, this is not my design. I want to be very clear.
I feel like I'm getting. I was saying I feel like I'm getting better at I know I'm in your old office, so I've been trying to figure out.
You got to kind of move stuff around
where I want to put the camera while we're recording. I feel like I'm getting.
It's looking pretty close. Yeah, I think you could use something kind of like fish.
Yeah, I know it needs to be more fishy. That's why I've got the SoFly hoodie here.
Maybe under that picture,
Yeah, like maybe I'll just.
We got to figure this out. We got to get good curated backgrounds, because it's like that's kind of like what people do. Meanwhile, like, look at my background. I'm doing a disservice to the viewers. They're like, I don't want to see just like.
Plus, where's your light? I guess your face. I can barely see your face.
I know it turned off. I got to get a new one. It didn't. I'm falling apart over here, man. Stick a fork in me.
I'm done.
10 years it took, and I'm just done. I'm just dead.
Well, but luckily, what's not done is our sick guests.
Brother, and that train's rolling through the station today.
Big
because
time.
Who did we speak to? Jeff Feczko. Tell me about Jeff. How do you know him?
Well, I met Jeff in Mag Bay. Jeff is a Roosterfish guide in Baja. But of course, Baja is a big place. He doesn't live in Magdalena Bay, but he spends a good portion of the year. Well, not a good portion of the year. He spends a small portion of the year there because when the marlin come in, it's like, oh my god, a lot of other stuff come in, including roosters.
Yeah. There's roosters in there when the marlins are in there too.
Oh my god. Repeat myself so much.
I didn't realize the roosters came in with the marlin.
Well, they're not in the same area, but they're like, yeah, but I met Jeff to go rooster fishing.
Yes, I know that much.
Yeah.
But not in the same spot.
No, but I mean, so you pass this giant island before you get to the marlin fishing grounds, and on those beaches and point breaks and stuff, that's where you'll find those roosters.
Right. So that's why Jeff was there. He was there to chase roosters specifically. He wasn't really going for the marlin.
He will guide striped marlin, but he would rather guide roosters. Because roosters are his thing, which you'll find out today because this show's all about roosters.
It's hard to beat. Roosters are pretty cool, and it was really cool talking to Jeff because he took us all in through the ins and outs and ups and downs of what it's like chasing rooster fish in Baja, and it sounds really, really unique. Very interesting, very cool.
I can't remember exactly where he lives. I know he lives closer to Cabo, which is about 4 hours from Mag Bay. So he drives up to Mag Bay and spends about a month there, and then goes back down home.
Yeah, extremely fish forward fellow.
Yes,
very, very fish forward. So it was great to talk to him because he's extremely talented fly tyer as well, and just knows so much about fish. That's all he thinks about. So it was really cool chat. Thanks, Jeff, for taking the time, and I think y'all are going to enjoy the show. I hope you do. But before we get into that, Any community news that's pertinent?
Totally. Well, this is coming out February 15th, so just everybody keep that in mind when I'm doing this calendar. We just had flies. We just had sake and scissors, which was great. We raised about $500 for BGOW, which is amazing. It was
Nice.
a great turnout. It was a super fun night. A couple people tied their first fly ever, including Yilma. And just kidding.
Did he actually tie a full fly?
He did. He tied a Scotty McFly.
Was it good?
No. He's not here to defend himself. Just roasting him. But a lot of people tied their first fly, and there's one gentleman who just got into fly fishing, tied his first fly, and then won a fly rod in the raffle. So
what kind of fly rod did he win?
Won a Reddington field kit.
Ouch!
A trout field kit.
Field kit.
Flowed kit. So that was cool.
It's 10 a.m. here. We need more coffees in us. I need like to be injected into the brain with coffee right now. I'm not like overly tired, but like my mind is slow. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like your mind is slow right now?
I find that both of our minds are usually slow.
No, but it's like exceptionally slow today. Like I'm just kind of like tripping through the day.
It's Friday, it was a long week. I crammed a lot into my old brain this week, and I feel you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sake and scissors went really well.
Glad that it went well. I was thinking about running down and just like showing up. I was
that would have been epic, dude.
Busted, and we just get totally
Lots of
wasted.
people were asking. They were like, "Is Mitchie making the drive?"
That would have been so sick.
A couple people showed up and was like, "Mitchie's making the drive?" ? And I was like,
"Oh,
no.
Really? Oh man, But I'm saving that. I'm saving that energy. I'm gonna do it. I'm saving.
But everyone's expecting you to be at Soto's, so you got to do it at different.
I'm not gonna be at Soto's. I'm gonna do it a different time. Yeah.
Okay, looking ahead, March 1st is the Emergence, which is it's kind of a big full day at Left Field Brewery, hosted by Drift Outfitters, of course.
Yeah.
In the evening, it's the late afternoon. It's the IF4, which is sold out, so that's awesome. But during the day is Ontario's, like maybe Canada's biggest tying symposium, ever, or at least in a very long time. Drift has invited all these.
Dude, it's amazing, a big one.
It's huge. All these tires from, around North America, and they're flying people in, and people are driving up for this, and people are giving seminars and talks, and it's going to be an amazing day. And I think there's just about 30 tickets left, so it's very close to selling out, and you definitely want to go, because there's headliners like Mitchell Roberts and.
Did you see Mitchell Roberts' recent fly, that purple,
the goth fly? Oh my god,
it was it was brilliant,
so good.
It was so cool. I was like, wow, that is just beautiful looking. Like, what a fly!
And that hook,
beautiful. Yeah,
Mitchell's
really like slamming it on the old fly tying. I mean, they always have, but like now it's like that purple one. I was like, whoa, what a cool customized, like, because I think that was their own pattern, right? Like it was a thing when Mitchell was getting a little creative. Beautiful fly. Shout out to Mitchell Roberts on fly, and they're going to be at the symposium. The Emergence.
The Emergence. Go to driftoutfitters.com for all your for the full details, but I would definitely not miss that event. I'm going to be there taking photos and just hanging out, and also what a beautiful fly. My God.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the one I was talking about.
Also, the venue is amazing. We've held stuff at the Left Field Brewery in Liberty Village before, and it's awesome. They've got great food, obviously, they have great beers, and also not, if you're not a drinker, they have a lot of really great non-drinking options. Also, they have cocktails. Just saying. And so it's gonna be 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. At the Left Field Brewery. There's about 30 tickets left, and there are just like, over 15 of the, some of the most awesome tires, and whether they work for Rio or Fulling Mill or Orvis or on their own, like Mitchell, they're guides, they're competitive anglers, they're commercial fly towers.
Mike Crapperode is going to be tying there.
Yeah, like you're going to see some really wicked things.
Mike is an incredible tire.
We've mentioned before on the show that when we went to the Denver Fly Show, one of our favorite parts of the show was Tires Row. We were surprised, that we didn't really know what to expect at the Denver show because we didn't look into it at all. But one of the things that we enjoyed the most.
Dude, the
was the
Tyers Row is
Tyers Row,
incredible.
which
Yeah,
was just like a bunch of tying desks and people were tying. You could walk up to them at your own leisure and ask them questions, buy their flies. And we met a lot of really cool people, like Fritz.
yeah, and this will
Lateral
be
lines.
that'll be that kind of vibe. Tying only event, like it kind of gets me stoked on tying again. It makes me feel excited about tying.
Are you going to tie a fly?
I think I'm gonna tie a fly.
You're going to tie some musky flies?
I'm gonna tie a fly, and you'll see it on the Instagram stories. So fly in the next couple days.
I thought you were building a rod too. Isn't that?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Well, I'm with bated breath, brother.
I just took it apart the other day.
Oh.
It's really shaping up. I was debating whether I wanted to crowdsource. No, I still will. I just got to find, I'm trying to find the best place to find the best parts in Canada for the best price. I've been talking to a couple different people. Adam Pett, who's actually in Ottawa now. Very cool.
Interesting.
If you are a rod builder out there and you've got a really cool intel on where to get really unique rod building supplies, hit me up. info@sofly.ca or just DM me on Instagram.
And then the only other thing I'll say is, for Southern Ontario anyway, is the F3T is coming, and there is a fly fishing section to the Sportsman's Show this year. Unfortunately, we're going to be at the Palm Film Festival finale, which is a segue, by the way, because the Palm is on and our film is in it. This is ours. So in Southern Ontario, let's do a little roundup here. We've got the Emergence, March 1st.
Yep.
The
Palm
Toronto
Fest.
Sportsman's Show is going to have the fly fishing section back again, and the F3T will be screening there. So if you want to go check that out in Toronto, go do that. Then, in a larger sense, the Palm Film Festival, which has our film This Is Ours about Gaspé Coastal in it, within Quebec. The Palm is hosted by the Palm. Outside of Quebec, you'll find the Palm seated in the Scale of Change tour. So you'll be able to see our films there. The film tour is supported and presented by Hook A, Yeti, and the ASF, and Salmon Quebec, the FQSA. So all those four entities work together to present it across the country, which is really cool because there's a lot of dates across the country and a few US dates too, which is really rad. So we'll put the link in the show notes. And if you go to our website, you can find it as well. So
Ottawa, a bunch of stuff coming up.
Ooh.
February 21st, actually, the Fly Fishing Film Tour will be screening at the, that's actually presented by Live to Fish. Dan, our friend Dan, is going to be doing that at the Ottawa Boat and Outdoor Show. So yeah, you can get tickets to go see that. The IF4, this is the F3T, Fly Fishing Film Tour.
It's just they're too closely named.
I know, and they're basically the exact same thing. So it's like, why don't you guys just merge already? Anyways, F3T will be at the Ottawa Boat and Outdoor Show, and Dan Live to Fish is going to be there too. Giving attendees a chance to try casting fly rod or tying a fly. So you could go to the actual Ottawa Boat and Outdoor Show and have a bit of a fly fishing experience there too. Yeah, I'll totally go check it out. Feb 21st is the date.
Oh, it's a Saturday.
So it's a Saturday. It's actually this coming Saturday, or I guess next Saturday when the show's out. And so, go check that out. I mean, that'd be really cool to see if you're in Ottawa. This is my first full year being in Ottawa in a long time. So I'm not sure what the events, kind of scene is like. Maybe this is a big one, but the F3T is always cool. It's good fishy films. So check that out. And of course, Ottawa Fly Fish Society will be there too. And, all kinds of fun stuff. And then, tune into the Ottawa Fly Fish Society, see if they've got some events coming up. I know that they have a trip they're planning. I know they posted the other day about it, but that's not fall. Yeah, Canuck. Canuck is in Quebec, right?
Yeah, it's just not far from you.
I'm trying to remember exactly what that is. I remember the name of it. I remember hearing about it when we were growing up here.
Or that Chateau Montebello is at.
Right.
It's like a bunch
smashing.
Colin Huff, he fishes there. He does a lot of his I think they do a lot of Team Canada training there as well, for Stillwater stuff. But it's not just trout it's a huge nature reserve, massive, and not that far from Ottawa. And, it's got amazing trout fishing, but also amazing pike fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you should
pike,
go fish that, and they have awesome cabins. Like, I mean, you can camp if you want, but they have really, really, really nice log
that's
cabins you
cool.
can stay in. Yeah.
Have you stayed there? Have you like camped
I
out there?
like in my Green Drake days. Yeah,
That's so fun.
yeah, we used to go there, and fish, and it was super fun. It was really,
Yeah.
really fun.
Well, there you go. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I think Ottawa Boat and Sports Show is definitely something worth checking out if you're in Ottawa, February 21st. And yeah, you can get tickets. Either Dan Live to Fish or the Ottawa Fly Fishing Society has posted about it on Instagram, or just Google it. But the fly fishing film tour will be screened there. That's it for news for now. Why don't we hop into the show?
Hell yeah.
All right, Jeff Feczko talks about Roosterfish, takes us into this zany, wild world after these words. Jeff Feczko is a world-renowned fishing guide, award-winning fly designer for Rio Products, a master brand ambassador for Guideline Fly Fishing and Mako Eyewear, and a USCG 100-ton master captain based year-round in Baja California Sur, Mexico. He's the founder of To the Gills, a guide service taking anglers to off-grid saltwater species around the world. With over 20 years on the water, Jeff has guided everywhere from Alaska and Puerto Rico to Baja and the Seychelles. He's best known for his uncanny ability to find roosterfish in the surf, but his expertise spans tuna, striped marlin, jacks, yellowtail, and more. Basically everything and anything that swims. He collaborated with the International Game Fish Association on its roosterfish research program. He played a key field role in locating, capturing, and releasing roosterfish from both beach and boat. Early research identified distinct roosterfish subpopulations across their range, with a second phase launching by the end of 2025 to study feeding, behavior, and migration. We're going to talk all about that and roosterfish, of course. Also, as a Rio signature tire, Jeff created the Feczko cheeseburger. Great name for a fly, an award-winning crab pattern originally designed for triggerfish, now a global staple for permit and parrotfish. Self-taught from the age of 10, Jeff has always built his own gear to make it better, tougher, and more effective, because for him, fly fishing isn't about how flies look, it's about whether they work. His first fish on the fly was a creek chub. Hell yeah, I love the honesty, brother. His first time on So Flies Today. Welcome to the show.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
So have you, Jeff? Welcome, man.
Good to be here.
Where are you calling in from today?
I'm right here in the barrio in La Ribera.
Beautiful.
We're about a mile and a half from the beach. You can hear it.
Man. That's amazing, dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. Nice warm weather, and I bet it's just amazing.
It's freezing up here. It's freezing.
Beautiful today.
Oh, it's like
I've
Antarctica
been
here.
seeing weather reports from like my folks, they live up north and stuff. And I'm like, I could not. So when it drops below like 60 here, I'm struggling.
Yeah, for sure. I feel you, especially once you get used to it. I mean, it's like Antarctica up here. It's cold, it's snowy, it's windy. But it's nice to take a little break here and hear about your life down there. It's going to be great, man. Have you done any fishing lately? Like, how's the fishing been?
Oh, the fishing's been absolutely loose. It seemingly changes year by year, whether the water temperature maintains, the bait, all that. There's a million factors that go into it. The stock, the number of the stock, the reproductive success, all that jazz. But I'm confident that any month of the year I can put anglers on roosterfish from the beach. So be it more difficult during the off months, let's just say January through March. But I've put 19 on the beach since January 3rd, sight casted on fly.
Oh, wow.
A Dorado, 2 yellowfin tuna, a host of smaller species like roncachos, croakers, triggers, and que más. I've got some other stuff too. I just can't remember, but
I mean, that's pretty good for like a month, basically.
Like it's killer.
Early Feb now.
Shoot, the other day, first day of February, I got 9 in 2 hours.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, it was loose. I mean, there were 40 to 60 roosterfish running the trough like it was mid heat season June. And they act like they never saw a fly before.
Oh my God.
The funniest part about the story, though, is like in the mornings it's chilly, so I wear like nano puffs and typically put a pair of shorts on underneath them. so I can shed once it warms up. Started to warm up, shed the nanos, realized I had no shorts on underneath, just underwear. And I was like, well, I'm sending it,
Yeah.
And maybe it brought them in, but I don't know. It was comfortable to fish. I might start trying to pull that off.
Talk about a teaser, eh?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. 100%.
I love it, man.
Oh man. Just for a quick background here,
Yeah.
Jeff. I met Jeff in real life.
That's right.
About 2 months ago, on the Mario Zosa trip in Mag Bay,
Mhm.
where we were hunting for roosters and basically everything else.
Yeah.
It was a great day. It was a great day.
Yeah.
So when we hung out, I was like, oh man, we gotta get Jeff on the show because he's rad.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Well,
Love
thank
that.
you. I feel the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, we had a blast. And we had some northeastern connections too. But we're getting off topic. But yeah, just a little SoFly context there, Mitch.
Well, maybe that's a good way to kind of start it because you mentioned, Northeast and Mexico and all this stuff. So, like, why don't we just go back to Jeff? Why don't you just give everybody sort of a brief, overview on your fly fishing life and where you're from and how you ended up in Mexico?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So I grew up on the outskirts of Ithaca, New York. And, I'd fished since an early age, probably like 3. My uncle
Mhm.
Danny had a farm pond in North Carolina, and we were on a family visit. I was like 3 years old or whatever. We were fishing with cane poles for bluegills and
Fun.
brim, as they call them down there.
Yeah.
And I got hit, and I freaking whacked them, and I broke the stick, and it was a snapping turtle, and I saw that thing's mouth come out of the water, and I was terrified. I think I
Yeah.
cried. I was more worried that I angered Danny by breaking his pole, but um, it stuck with me. And then after that, I was obsessed. I was like, what else? What else can I stick out of these things? And then shortly thereafter, got like a Zebco push button, got my first
Oh
Shakespeare spinning
no, that started
reel,
off so well.
and then shoot, by the age of 10, I got my first fly rod, which was like an eagle claw with a Fluger crap reel on it. My dad acquired it through Marlboro Miles because you used to be able to clip the little coupons off. And it was a convertible, so you could stick this like plastic spinning reel on it that wouldn't have caught more than one fish without exploding. So I picked it up and, brought it out in my backyard, and we had a clothesline with like the T bar kind of thing. And it was 60 feet between the two. And from the moment I picked up a fly rod, I was able to double haul. It just felt right. And my grandfather, who's a fisherman to the bone, not a fly fisherman, but absolutely deadly, bait fisherman, other techniques, stuff like that. He saw that and he knew enough about fishing to realize, like, holy crap, that kid is launching 60 feet and he just touched that fly rod. And took it upon himself to kind of help me nourish that by taking me fishing after school, on the weekends, whenever we could. He was my father figure essentially growing up.
Right.
And all we did was fish. We'd put on Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, drive to the creek and go catch fish, or the lake or the river or whatever. And those are some of the most fine, like, amazing memories that I have. And when I got a little bit older, I got my driver's license and stuff, and started fishing, outside of town longer and whatnot, and just went completely bananas with it. Like, I would bounce back and forth between spin and fly, but predominantly my interest was in fly because I could make my own toys. And that I used to do in a large way because we didn't have any fly shops where I lived.
Right.
So I'd hijack mom's sewing kit. It was in a flambeau tackle box
Oh, yeah.
and
Hell yeah.
flambeau. And I tied up some just monstrosity San Juan worm kind of looking things. Basically, just wrapped a bunch of shit on a hook. And then I like Ithaca, New York is wine country, so we'd have corks around. I make poppers.
Oh, yeah.
Um, the creek I grew up on, um, and don't Google my address. Um, it has a wild population of brook trout that is by miracle still there, and that was a luxury of mine, you know. And then where that confluence is at the bottom of my street is a larger creek with what used to have browns, rainbows, and you know it was more abundant in species. But then they rip wrapped, and then there was that whole Camelon True Green kind of ruined the substrate, and now it's basically a smallmouth and like fall fish,
Yep.
extremely marginal small fish, but the brook trout have stayed strong all up through the tributaries throughout the whole system south.
Yeah.
And talk about like tiny water, so many like there's when people say there's more fish than there were water, it's pretty accurate to that. I mean, you can't throw in a spot and at least have like a tiny one eat it, and they get all the way up to like 16, 18 inches in there. So
Wow.
that was the main deal. And then, you know, I went to school at Tompkins Cortland Community in Dryden, New York for environmental science. Hated it. Decided even with that degree that I'd be working for $9 an hour at some goofy aquaculture in New York. So I said, screw this. I'm going to Alaska. Um, Moved to Alaska, started working in aquaculture initially, and then shortly thereafter realized that you could be a fishing guide and you could make money doing it.
Yeah.
So I got my captain's license, started guiding all over Alaska. I was the type of guy that would do 1 or 2 seasons here and there just to see more of the state. I have a hard
Yeah.
time sitting still. And, you know, to be in Baja for as long as I have is a testament to how amazing it is
Okay.
because I jumped around a lot, you know.
Yeah.
And once I'd finished my first season in Alaska, I had like real money for the first time in my life. And I was like, holy crap. You know, I remember waking up on visited my mom for Christmas in New York, and I looked outside and I was like, I can go wherever I want right now. I have money to buy a plane ticket. I can go do something. So I used to go down to like I'd fly into Miami, rent a car, drive down to Flamingo, drive down to Big Pine, just DIY. Honduras kept that trend up until I believe 2013 or 12, one of the two, and came to Baja to meet with Justin and Kate Crump. And they were the first people to introduce me to Baja. And I caught my most memorable roosterfish with Justin one. I think it was the last day of my trip. Um, Hilarious story. I was with another guy, Justin. We had all been drinking. Obviously, it goes hand in hand with beach fishing sometimes. I don't preach it by all means. I don't like to do it, but I was laying in the back of the Polaris, like Fear and Loathing style, pouring a beer over my chest. Justin's like half asleep. Dax is snoring. I sit up and I'm like, "That's a roosterfish," and Justin's like, that is a roosterfish. I casually walk down there, two false, drop it, fish charges, eats instantly, and everyone's like, "Oh," you know,
Yeah.
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 and
Holy shit.
you know, people stopped and watched the fight. The spool came off the reel. The tip came off the rod. I hand lined like the last, you know, like the leader essentially, which I shouldn't. Never touch the leader of a rooster fish that's still in the water. Don't ever do that. But I got him, luckily, and it was just solidifying. You know, like I had been going through a stressful time, and that trip in particular just completely shattered all that, and it it just opened my eyes a bit, you know, and I decided I needed to go back in the winter months to see what it was like then. I
Mhm.
did so a year later, contacted all the local guides. No one would give me the time of day because I was a guide myself. And they
Mhm.
were scared I was going to come steal their turf. And they were right because I did. But I went down and I stuck like a 35-pound jack crevalle from the beach in the middle of March on a 9-weight RPLXI. There were points in the fight where like I couldn't do anything, the fish couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I was on cloud nine and I reached that like level of happiness and like peace that we all strive for, like a feeling of comfort and just pure relaxation. Like the climate, the culture, the food, the people. There's so much more to it that Baja Mexico, Mexico and Toro is absolutamente my favorite place in the world. I've traveled all over the place. The whole time I guided in the Seychelles, I just missed Baja. Whenever
Yeah,
I travel, I'm
that's
like,
interesting.
even if I go on a fishing trip somewhere, I'm like, man, I wonder what's going on the beach.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing because you never know what you're gonna come across here. Like some of these points and some of these features that we fish are such close access to a insanely deep water that we're catching blue water fish from the beach.
Yeah.
I've had shots at black marlin from the beach. That was last season with Max Canner from Guideline. Um,
That's wild.
I've had shots at wahoo from the beach, and I've actually brought them to the beach 3 times from the line to the beach, from the line to the beach, which is about 150 yards. 3 times in a row wouldn't eat. Um, I've raised striped marlin with teasers from the beach.
Jeez.
I've caught yellowfin tuna and dorado from the beach. Skipjack, which are semi, you know, semi pelagic, like kind of
Yeah.
inshore offshores. But you never really know, and that's what really keeps me super fascinated because every single year, as you know, sand has a tendency to move around with big current, big weather. Every single year, the beach is a new puzzle for me to figure out. Granted, I do work off, like my knowledge of tide, wind direction, moon phase, speed of tide, all that stuff that you should account for when fishing saltwater.
Mhm.
And it's proven, to have, you know, sustained, but still, I mean, there's going to be new structures that fish better at different tides. So
Right.
you can just compound all those moves that you've made over the years. And next thing you know, you're making one move a day or
Mhm.
you're moving 500 yards in a day. And for me, that's awesome because if we're having action, I'm not burning gas. And that's just that's a win-win for everybody. We can chill, we can acclimate our eyes to this specific area that we've been concentrating on. That way, when something different shows up, we're on it rather than cruising around looking for them. Then you got to jump out, get all your stuff together, get all your stuff tangled in your feet,
Yeah,
step on a puffer fish.
Yeah.
Um,
step on a puffer fish.
Yeah.
things like that. So I try to keep my moves minimal. I use all element to my advantage. Obviously, tides, sunlight, put it at your back. When it's above you, go the other way. It's
Right.
it's there's a lot of it's more complex than fishing a beach should sound or look.
Yeah.
I know for sure that when people see pictures of the beach in Baja, they're like, "Oh man, that looks easy. It's a big wide open beach. I'll be able to slam a fly out there."
Yeah.
I've seen some of the best anglers struggle with throwing from the beach.
Yeah.
Managing their running line with the surf incoming and a steepled bank behind you that doesn't show up in pictures that has to be anywhere from 15 to 20 feet in most places.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you really got to steeple up, quick shot, deliver at an angle that is, fleeing from the bait fish or from the rooster fish that doesn't require him to completely change course 90 degrees.
Yeah.
You have to make it easy for them. They can be freaking wildly aggressive. They can be stupid.
Great synopsis. I think like we were gonna ask like why Mexico, Jeff? And I think if like people are listening to this, they should probably understand that like I mean you fell in love with the whole thing. You said it yourself, like you fell in love with the food, obviously the
Mhm.
challenge of the beach, but also the opportunities at the beach,
Truly.
kind of brings you. I think that's really cool, and like you said, it's a testament to the area and the people and the people you've met, and
Yeah, it's
I was gonna
also
say like what? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say it's like super cool how like in love with the place that you fell so in love with this place and really started to pick it apart pretty quickly. I mean, it's awesome. Like that it pulled you in like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Basically, from the moment I put eyes on the Sea of Cortez, I was like, "This is it. This is the area I was looking for." I guess it could start like this. As a child, I used to watch ESPN on Sundays, and I saw some dudes catching roosterfish from boats in Costa Rica, and I was like, "Man, I want one of those." And there it began. And I had heard that Baja Mexico was the best place to do it from the beach, and I'm 100%. I like to fish by foot. Um, I love boats too, obviously, but on a day off, you'll never catch me on a boat. Not a chance.
Yeah.
Um, then I went to the Grand Canyon, and I was like, the only thing that this place is missing is an ocean. And then I thought about it, and I was like, well, the Sea of Cortez is down there, and there's roosterfish in the Sea of Cortez. Okay, we got it. So for years, I tried to get down there prior, and I kept having problems because I was working in Alaska with flights getting in and out and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm honestly happy it went that way, simply because I don't think I was ready.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's an interesting thing you bring up. Like, you weren't ready. Like, how has that like life abroad, changed how you like see fishing, or like how did it bring you? How did like the collective experiences bring you to be ready for Baja, as you put it?
well, the conveniences of things, and maybe not fully understanding the language.
Right.
As a younger Jeff, um, that fascinated me because I'm the type of person that if I don't like get good at something, or if I don't get it, I want to at least get it enough to where I'm proficient, to make my life easier. And with Mexico, shoot, I guess just how difficult the access is, how difficult the fishery is, and going through the processes of becoming legal is not easy. It takes a lot of work and commitment. And I really wanted to, get good at Spanish. And Mexico has always fascinated me in so many ways with like old Western stories of narcos and the cartel and all that stuff. That's exciting to me. And I love
Yeah.
the desert. I like cactuses. I like succulents. I'm a freaking nerd when it comes to plants and lizards and snakes and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, that kind of just fully sucked me in. And the amount of intensity and emotion that goes into rooster fishing surpasses just about anything except for like saying goodbye to your mother at the airport. It's it's truly the highest high. Even for me, still having had great success with roosterfish over my span of time here, every single one I catch, whether it be the size of my hand or 90 pounds, same stoke. I mean, those things are just magnificent creatures. They're rare. Their span of where they exist is very small. From, people will argue with you with this, but like basically, let's just say north of Bahia de Los Angeles, or north of Bahia Magdalena, south to Ecuador and the Sea of Cortez. That's a pretty
Oh,
large zone for one species to be endemic to, I guess you could say.
Oh, that's
Whereas,
oh. Hmm.
whereas things like a permit, you can find a permit freaking anywhere.
yeah.
You know.
That's a pretty
Um,
small range. Like it's kind of wild, you know. It's
yeah,
another thing that makes them so interesting and unique, I guess. Though, just like they're just
truly.
in that spot, you know.
And the whole like subspe like the genetic variation between stock is the
Yeah.
other thing that's just like I would have never even had that on a thought radar. When we learned that, I was just like, What? So you're telling me that these fish that I'm catching in this stretch on a migratory set, non-migratory, they don't move more than supposedly 20 miles in their lifespan.
No
That could
way.
be that could be different for other locales. Let's say Panama, Costa Rica, Ecuador. Who knows? Quien
Mm.
sabes? But I find it to be true around these areas. Like I can identify certain fish, year after year after year. I've got one that I've been targeting for 5, 6 years. I call him the human. He's in
The
the
human.
same area.
The
There's
human.
a specific stock south
Why do
of
you call
us
him the? Why do you call him the human?
because he's about 7'1" and probably 130 pounds, like
Oh my
the minute
god.
the minute bowl of roosterfish.
Holy
Um,
Moses. So he's just a
he
tank.
Yeah, he's a monster. I've shown him to many people. I have like aerial footage of him.
Mm.
Um,
Of the
a
human.
friend, a friend. Yeah, yeah. I've been on him.
That's
Um,
sick.
a friend of mine hooked a needlefish in that zone a few years back, and the human ate the needlefish, and I was like, "Oh, not you!" Like,
Yeah.
but I would have been stoked if she caught it, maybe. Um,
Yeah.
And I've lit him up a few times, but I try not to throw a tease because I don't want to smarten him up. I want to catch him when he's dumb, cruising the sand line or the rock line,
Yeah.
and he's looking, not just like, oh, there goes a bait fish. Like
Yeah.
I want to hunt him down and I
Yeah.
want to get him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been tough. My buddy Chuck lit him up with a teaser the other day, and I was like, see, I told you he's here,
Yeah.
and it's just amazing because then even further down, let's just say another 20 miles from there, those fish seem to be a different batch as well. Then from
Okay.
there, a
Interesting.
different batch,
Interesting.
and it's all like size shape almost. You know, typically, without naming names, there's one spot, a point of sorts that has absolute demon short fat monsters. I call them leviathans. And then there's ones that I feel are like semi-pelagic almost, and they go out to deeper water and stuff like that and run a big lap.
Mhm.
And on certain tides they push in, and those are all honkers, man. Those are all tankers, anywhere from 40 to 100 plus, and those things absolutely rip, and they're scary to see. Like you see that thing out there and you're like, is that a freaking bull shark or
Jeez.
is that a sea lion? No, it's a roosterfish, dude.
That's
And
crazy.
then when they all crash the beach and you get to see them right up close, you're just like, oh my God. Like these things are gnarly. Like you can see, I don't know if you've seen some of the photos. There's one that's pegged at the top of my Instagram. It's with my buddy Tremor. And that was one of the best fish I've guided from the beach personally. The cola, the tail on that thing is literally, like 2 foot. It's huge.
Jeez.
And when a grown man can't get his hand around the peduncle of a roosterfish, that's truly the sign of like a megalodon. Like,
Right.
and it took two of us to hold them up. Roosterfish carry all their weight in their heads, so for one guy to hold it, it's really awkward. And I try to discourage a lot of handling of the fish because they're not the greatest catch and release fish. They're
Mhm.
pretty ginger because
Really?
they've
Yeah.
just fought for their lives.
Right.
Right.
Um, and they do, they give it to the absolute end. Even a 5 pounder will beat you up pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'd always try to keep them in the water and so forth. And typically you get a clean release. Sometimes, they take it deep, just leave the fly in there. Do not take it out. They'll bleed out instantly.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just super cool because you figure you've got all this tide knowledge and stuff figured out, and then here comes one in the right direction on a completely off moment of a tide that just smokes a fly like he's never seen it.
Yeah.
So it's mysterious and challenging, frustrating, will make you question just about everything about your approach. Um, I know people that have struggled for years and years and years before they've come right, and of course they weren't clients of mine. Um, but it cuts your learning curve largely to hire a guide.
Mhm.
Doing it yourself is fine, it's cool, it's whatever, but there are certain strokes that you need stroke in order to, not just be taking up space or educating fish.
Yeah.
Um, it's truly worth it to at least spend 3 days with a guide, get your bearings, show your respect, and then you're free to go. I'm not saying it's a rule or anything like that, but it's a respect move. For example, like I don't take any trips less than 3 days. um, First leak, the first day is going to be you tripping all over your stuff, and learning the nuances. Second day, you're probably going to catch one. Third day, you're going to fall apart. Fourth day, you're probably going to catch one. Fifth day, you're probably going to die. Um, so I've shortened all my trips to 4 days.
Yeah.
Um, because
Because the
even
depth is just too
myself,
much for you.
like you do as much
Yeah.
running and stuff that I do, and then have to come home, clean the bike, do
Yeah.
all your maintenance, all that jazz, feed the dog,
Yeah.
try to relax. Man, you really beat the crap out of yourself in the sun and the element and breathing all that dust, and
Yeah.
it's tough on a guy.
What
Yeah.
Um,
what is so I guess like, you've mentioned bike and running and rods and everything. So what is a typical day kind of look like? How are you approaching, like, if somebody books a day with Jeff,
yeah.
what should they be thinking to expect?
Okay, so from the go, I'll have the taxi organized to come pick you up, bring you to the hotel, which is literally 5 minutes from my house. I'll pick you up at a decided time. I like to meet you at 8 so we can, go over a couple things,
Yeah.
check your gear out. The
What kind of
drink.
gear should people be thinking of bringing? Are we talking like 12 weights, like,
I
or
love when
10,
people
10
fish
weights?
12s. You're not casting all day.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
you're,
yeah,
you're
right.
taking shots. Um,
Right.
tens are the standard issue because they
Okay.
Yeah.
can cover all bases. Say you want a species fish, a 10 is legit. But like a 60-pound rooster on a 10 it's a lot of work.
That's a
A
lot of
six
work.
a
Yeah.
60-pound rooster on a 12 is still a lot of work, but you can still put serious freaking heat on them. And I
Yeah.
encourage the heat. Like
Okay.
I want you when he eats that fly to resist, not strip set, to resist and hold him and try to get him to slap himself. Like try to almost get him to beach himself,
Yeah.
you know? And then he takes off and keep that like really, really tight through your hands until you feel like your 30 pounds gonna freaking break. Onto the reel, drag down almost all the way, depending on what reel you have. And your rod angle is gonna be no higher than your chin and let him go. When he gives you the slightest second to crank, burn him. Put the serious pressure on him. Like reef, walk
Yeah.
backwards, run down, walk backwards, run down. Reef
That's
on that
cool.
thing as hard as you can. Keeping in mind that with one flip of his head, he'll snap 30 in a heartbeat. They don't have teeth, they've got gums, but hard bony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so you got to keep that in mind. Know the strength of your 30-pound. I fish 40 a lot too,
Hmm.
but I've seen people break 40 on fish that aren't 40 pounds just
Right.
because of that.
And you,
Go on.
sorry, you're fishing 30 because are they a bit leader shy, or is that
They
just?
are, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. However, if you can engage a fish, let's say he's out at 80 feet, you've got a lot of convincing to do before he takes the fly. He's going to follow it and comb up, and you're going to get all nervous and stuff. and start stripping like a maniac. That's not what you want to do. You want to stick with the original speed in which you engage the fish with. Um, Say he follows it all the way up to the beach. He can't care if that's 15 pound or 60. He's not going to see it in the wash. But if it's a fish in the wash, shoot, you could get away with fishing straight braid if you wanted to.
Right.
But you know most of those fish are typically 60, 70 feet out. um
Okay.
no
So
blood, no
so we
guts.
we got our rods and reels. You've picked us up from, we're at the hotel. We met you at your house or whatever's happening.
Mhm.
You're headed to the beach. What again, what are people wrapping their brains around? You guys hopping on
So
ATVs? Are we
i
running?
have
What are we doing?
I have two Polaris Ranger XP 1000s, so it's a side by side,
Yeah.
and I've got the Cadillac of the beach. I've got the best models, and I take pride in that. It was hard earned years in Alaska, guiding trout and char, and living in waders,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm completely self built on that respect. Everything that I've got, I've purchased myself with no sponsors
That's
or
awesome, dude.
nothing. I didn't
Yeah.
have that luxury.
Yeah.
Um, so we run the beach in those. It's very comfortable for, I like two anglers. Three is fine, but you have to be under the understanding that you're not standing on the bank of a river in a line catching pink salmon. You're going to have to determine who's going to get the shots. You're going to have to determine your order, and I leave that up to the guest. Um, and there can't be hesitation. There needs to be action because they do not give you
Mm,
much time.
Yeah.
They move fast. You need to get ahead of them a ways in order to
Right.
lay the right shot down. You don't want them to see you. They can see you easy as day. That's a lot of the times while they'll chase the fly right up to the beach and turn around.
Yeah.
They see you. You got to be pretty stealthy. And, when we get to the beach, let's just say we just arrived to the beach. I get all the rods properly set up. We talk, we go over strategy. I'll do a little bit of, you know, watch and learn, like for stripping technique, set technique, timing casts and all that jazz, placement, basically everything you need to know to have success off the go. And sometimes it happens right then and there. And we're like, oh crap, and it's like on the job training. And
Yeah.
I like when that happens, but it also can be frustrating if it doesn't come right.
Mhm.
So, we will move to certain areas judged upon tide and wind and elevation of the flat in which we're fishing or structure in which we're fishing at the
Yep.
right
okay.
at the right size and speed of the tide. Um, we'll do what I call like a post Malone or just a post up, and we'll sit there, line stripped out, ready, watching. If there's sign, birds, heck yeah, pay attention. Ospreys, pay attention. Frigate birds, obviously pay attention. Um, all birds are good birds, I
Yeah.
think. I'm not, yeah, there might be some that I don't like. But basically, yeah, you just kind of have to keep your head in it at all times and be ready to sprint and lay an accurate shot down with the quickness, like less than two false casts and a dart at that. You want it to lay flat and you know initiate your strip kind of like the fish is coming upon it, like he found it naturally. Don't like just start banging it like you would a
Right.
GT. They're noodly in the way that you can light them up. If it just burns past him, he's like, oh,
Whatever.
I'll wait for a slower one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, so therefore, as the let's just say he takes interest and chases it, heck yeah, you're gonna keep it going. You're gonna keep it going, and if he's missing it, you can kind of like drop your shoulders back a little bit. I feel like that's
Mhm.
the best way to explain it with a fly rod. Drop your shoulders back a little bit, and that will just slow the fly slightly enough for him to get it in his mouth. You're like
Right.
feeding it to him, put it in his
Mhm.
mouth. With a spinning rod, say you got him all lit up and he's chasing the teaser and he wants it really bad, you
Mhm.
lower the spinning rod and keep the same,
Right.
you
Keep
know,
reeling.
and then when he eats, you keep reeling. You don't set,
Yeah.
because that's direct,
Yeah.
breakneck, and that's what
Yeah.
you want because the bone structure of the bottom jaw and like the maxilla mandibular
Yeah.
is pretty wide, and it's hard as as bone
Yeah.
gets. You want to get them right in the sizz. Definitely not in the tongue, and then the roof will hold, but that's less than ideal. You definitely
Right.
want it. You definitely want it in the scissors. Um,
Okay. So like it's a pretty like finessed thing. Like even though these
Hundred
fish are
percent,
huge and blowing up, you're very you're like you're saying you're careful about not spooking them. You're
exactly.
laying a presentation that's very soft. Your retrieve is like subtle.
Hmm.
It's very kind of soft. It's interesting.
It is, yeah, it is. A lot of people are like, "Man, I didn't think I'd have to strip this slow," and I'm like, "You don't have to burn it at all.
Right.
Like you try to match the intensity of the fish,
Yeah.
and you know, if you stop the fly,
Mhm.
he's obviously going to lose interest.
Yeah.
If you speed it up at the wrong moment, he's going to be like, "That's weird." Typically, bait fish, as they
Yeah.
burn out, and slow down.
Yeah.
And if he follows it all the way up into the foam, that's when you can stop it because the manipulation of the surf will create motion of the fly still, and he'll do a freaking headstand on a thing, and you
Yeah.
just yard back on him like the resist, not like a
Yeah.
full strip set.
Right. Just
Right.
kind of add resistance. Don't jerk the thing, but just like add weight.
Yeah, like lean back into it.
It's
Put it
interesting.
into
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and the clear can be a bit of a mess up sometimes because the lines in your feet, surf's crashing and stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, just hand out, guide it back on.
Mhm.
Second you're on, crank down 4 to 5,
Yeah.
and you
There
know
you go.
let him do his thing. I encourage a lot of side pressure and low rod angle.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even tell people point the rod straight at the fish, you
Right.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and fight from your hip with the butt of the
Mhm.
rod because obviously that's the strongest part.
Part,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't move your feet a ton, but stay
Yeah.
even with the fish. Say he's moving right, you go right.
Right.
You don't want him down there and you're fighting him from up here. Like
Right. Bad
something like
angles.
that. That's
They
one of
just
those angles where they'll do the head clap and spit.
You're done.
And
Yeah.
I just, yeah, these are all things that I've kind of observed by trial and fire.
Do you
And
find they're Do you find they're as finicky as like a permit? Because they sound like they can be kind of like
they
you
are,
gotta like yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But roosterfish are, in a respect, completely different, in their attitude because they do have that like switch. Like you hit the switch on a roosterfish, that thing's gonna freak out and likely
Right.
trash your fly.
right.
Gotcha.
Kind of do, but they're not necessarily as predatory as a roosterfish.
Yeah.
Permit are just kind of like dilly dally, freaking.
Do whatever. Like yeah, lay a crab, cool, or But roosters have that thing where if you just do the right thing, they're like, okay, this thing's about to die.
You're dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, you're not. I'm gonna kill you until you're dead.
That's
Yeah.
so
Um,
good.
I've
So
had
tides and structure, you were talking about tides and structure. Water clarity have anything to does that factor into your day at all,
if
or is
it's
that just
blown, like
yeah,
if the shore break is brown, I won't go for it.
yeah,
Um, I like a little bit off color. I like chop. I like wind upwards of 15 to 25 to 30. Um, I
mm,
like big waves. I like lots of foam.
Yeah.
mm,
Lots of
Um,
foam. Yeah.
yep.
This is all for cover, so the fish just doesn't spook. You don't spook it, right?
Yeah, and then like, you fish the right pattern, he can still see that fly in the foam.
Right. Right.
Um, and you know, trying to think of more to that, but I don't know. Ask me something else about it.
Yeah, the tides and stuff like that obviously are bringing fish in and whatnot. Clarity. It's a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
interesting thing because I guess I didn't really have any much of a thought on roosterfish. I've always just seen them on, on the fishing shows and got so jacked about them too because they're so cool looking. And I
Yeah,
always thought they were sort of like a jack where it's like, well, you get it in front of them, they're gonna see it and be like, let's go. But they sound nuanced and interesting. It's cool.
I know when we were on the
they
boats. Oh,
what's
sorry.
that?
I know when we were on the boat together, like you were we were trying to tease them. Are you teasing from the beach as well, or are you just
Occasionally, very
okay?
occasionally. I wait
Okay.
until the very last moment to do it.
Okay.
So let's just say I structure like this. We're cruising down the beach, or we're at a spot and we're looking at the water. In the immediate trough, like fly range,
Mhm.
most anglers 70 to 90 feet.
Okay.
That would be short or trough. Or if they're like right pegged to the beach, that's the
Mhm.
gutter. So that's the
Okay.
terminology I use for those fly
Okay.
shots, organic fly shots. If he's mid, which is beyond fly shot, we'll watch him and we'll follow him and see if he decides to come in or go out. And if he goes out and he gets, towards what I would call the line or long, which is at the longest extent of my tease shot, which is about 200 yards, um, I'll do it. Depending on the size of the fish. I don't like doing it to grandes. I don't think that they need that
Right.
kind of that kind of stress in their lives.
Right.
They've probably seen a million of them before,
Yeah.
and I just don't want to educate them. If they're a bunch of little dudes, heck yeah,
Yeah.
um, I'll tease them up, because they've got a lot to learn still,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't mind
Totally.
educating
Dude, the
those little
teaser
guys.
rod, the teaser rod was so fun. Like, man, you think that thing launches, Mitch launches.
It's so much fun for me to do, especially if we find like the big Jack Crevalles. And our Jack Crevalles, the Pacific Jacks, they can range anywhere from 3 pounds to 40.
Wow.
And
40 pounds.
Damn.
shoot, man, I've caught some honker jacks and guided some jacks. So look like
That's so
GTs,
cool.
like I
Yeah.
see dudes of
Totally.
pictures holding 65 centimeter jeets in the Seychelles, like, yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I get Jack Crevalle twice that size easily,
It's gnarly.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
like I love Jack Crevalle so much that I put
Oh,
one on
yeah.
my body for the rest of
They're
my
Oh,
so
we're
sick.
life.
we're
Yeah.
big fan. We're big Jack fans.
How
Mitch caught
Oh,
a
man.
could you not?
sick one in Belize.
Dude, they're
Yeah,
so
I
sick,
saw it.
man.
I saw it.
Oh, those are my favorite
Well
things.
done.
That
I,
was so
I
cool.
smiled too when I saw it. I was like, yeah. I was like,
It was
all right.
awesome. Dude.
Yeah, fucking
Definitely
Mitch
the
lit
biggest
that
thing I've
fish
caught in the
up,
salt
dude.
before. I was like, that's friggin' awesome. I
Hey,
totally get it. Yeah.
I bet that thing ripped too.
It was
Oh,
beautiful.
dude.
I got
They're
into
just such
Jack
pretty
Coil the other
looking
day
thing
too.
too.
Oh,
Oh
they're
yeah.
awesome looking, dude. They're
Yeah.
awesome. And
Yeah.
where was that you got that one? That was in Belize, right?
Yeah. And San Pedro. Yeah.
Okay, so our Jack Crevalle they're a different species. Ours are a Pacific Jack Crevalle. They
Oh,
tend
Right.
to
cool.
be more elongate, like
Okay.
the Atlantic Jack, I guess you could say, or whatever they want to call them.
Yeah. Okay.
They're kind of like
Stout.
stout
Yeah. Like a
barrels.
bulldog. Yeah.
Hell yeah, I love those things. That
Yeah.
my dad and part of my family, we lived in Florida a little bit growing up and stuff, and that's where I found the love for the Jack Crevalle. I was
Yeah.
like, this little 3 pound Jack just whooped me like that, like holy
Yeah.
smokes. And and then ours over here, man, when they're in the gutter, when they're in the trough or in close, and it's like ones or twos, I'll put that up there with being just as difficult, if not more difficult, than catching a roosterfish. They
Wow.
are
Oh,
they're
wow.
big.
Okay.
They got big ojos, man. They got some
Oh
big
yeah.
eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But when you
That's
find them in
cool.
the manchas and the big schools cruising out on like the deep line, I could
Yeah.
bang a teaser over that, and there's probably upwards of 100, 250 jacks in the school, maybe more. I will
Yeah.
light 60 or more of them up, and they will be freaking front flipping over the teaser trying to eat it, and you're burning as fast as you can trying to. If he touches it
Yeah.
once, that's it.
Yeah.
They touch plastic, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm
I
sitting here
get
like, "Ah!" and I'm yelling at you, "Johnny,
it.
drop it!" And
Drop it.
you
That's
got to
awesome.
drop it in the moment of heat. When they're fired up on the thing, right on the teaser, move it fast
Yeah.
instantly. And if it pauses, they're not going to eat it. If
Yeah.
someone's got to reach for their line to start stripping, they're not going to eat it. You need
Yeah.
to ring, like do this,
Yeah.
guide your, your running line as it comes out. So when your fly hits the water, you're directly under strip.
So
And
cool.
that is the key to catching fish on the tees, 100%.
I love it.
And then just
Love
keep
it.
stripping because they're coming at you, and you want to glue that thing.
How important is like, so back like to roosters, like how important is casting accuracy versus speed? Or is it the same kind of
um,
important?
accuracy is not everything. As long as it gets within a reasonable zone
Yeah.
of them and you catch their interest and you
Okay. Yeah.
play the situation properly, you will notice visibly the coloration change in the roosterfish and the behavior,
Mhm.
and you're going to have to act accordingly. So let's just say he darkens and comes up. That's when you can slightly come ahead on speed,
Right. Okay.
and that fish is likely going to eat. Whereas
Mhm.
if he doesn't do anything, just get that thing out of there, charge for longer than you think. Give him time to forget what just happened, and then go and place another one down. And it's not about distance, it's purely placement, and angle.
Yeah.
Um, I've had clients that can throw just a little bit more than their leader get them.
Wow. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
it's just like I said, stealth,
Yeah.
placement,
Yeah.
and acting accordingly.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, holy crap, how did I do that? But that's what really stokes me. And to be truthfully honest, I would rather take a straight up beginner than a seasoned, you know, measurer, like
Right.
one of the real good guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because the amount of first time saltwater anglers or anglers, let's just say using surf casting gear, they
Mhm.
typically adhere to instruction 10 times better than someone with an ego.
Right.
And last year I had a guest that I had met like 4 or 5 years ago. She was a diver, photographer,
Yeah.
extremely talented human being, tenacious. I was like, I want to come fish roosters with you. Oh, and I was like, he considered it kind of a joke, like she was playing with me. And
Yeah.
knowing how skilled she is with whatever she's into and just the tough woman that she is, I was like, heck yeah, this is a challenge. We're going to do this. First day on the beach, first time ever casting a surf rod, sticks a 60-pound plus roosterfish.
Freak.
Oh man.
Yeah,
That's so
changed her
sick,
life
dude.
forever.
Yeah.
She's currently going to fish in South Padre. She wants to get to sheep's head.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Cool.
since I fished with
Okay.
her last, she's fished for all sorts of different stuff. She's like
Yeah.
really into it now.
Yeah.
And that's coming from someone that used to swim with marlin and fish and look at him and be
Yeah.
like, cool,
Yeah.
like now she wants to catch him and eat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally different interaction. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And eat 'em.
And I'm proud of her. Like every single time I think about it, I was like, wow, that was truly an accomplishment for the both of us.
It's cool,
And
man.
it was in April, and it set last season up just to it
Yeah.
set me up right. I was feeling confident, and I was coming out proud swinging. And last season was my absolute personal best. With clients, put 96 on the sand from April 18th till August, no, uh, July 30th. And
Wow.
then
Wild.
after that, I caught some more on my own. My mom caught a couple when she visited, and then I took one in October, and we got 9 roosterfish in 3 days, a snook, a yellowfin surgeon, jack
Damn.
during a hurricane. So it just tells you never
That's
really
insane.
know. And I don't
Yeah.
want to blow up like a destination or anything like that. But
Yeah.
if roosterfish truly aren't your main focus, Baja Mexico is close. It's cheap flights for the most part if you plan it right.
Yeah.
And there's a luxury of species and different. It's a huge peninsula, man. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. The weather's warm, the food's good, the people are freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Um, if and other things, like let's say you're into plants, snakes, frogs, freaking rocks, whatever, geology. It's it's rich with that here. Like
Sick,
uh,
dude.
there are a couple places further north of here that are known for being some of the most like biologically diverse, or with plant life. Vizcaíno,
Yeah.
with just an amazing amount of species. And like you witnessed, Aldo, in Bahia Magdalena, the amount of species from the ground up, I'm talking shellfish to everything, is unfathomed. Like they're
It's a mind-blowing amount of life. Like if like yeah, every type of from the bait fish to obviously the marlin to seals to all the bird life, like and then of course all the fish species that you and I encountered that day. I know we didn't get into any roosters, but like maybe we had hoped. But
yeah,
man, we caught a lot of fish,
heck
and
yeah.
I lost a lot of fish.
We did lose that one on the inside right after David had caught the hawkfish that I
I
thought
know.
about. I thought about that for like 48 hours. I was like,
I was like, what was that? It was
I was
not
like,
small.
it had to have been a yellowtail because I had seen one probably 15 minutes before that in between us and the rock, and I'll bet you it was him. And there would have been no getting him. There
Yeah.
would have been
No,
no
no,
getting,
no.
not in
I
that
got
zone.
smoked immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
a done deal pretty much instantly.
But yeah,
I didn't even.
it's an amazing the biodiversity is amazing, and it really feels like you're in such a wild, rugged place. Baja's. I mean,
Truly.
we flew into Laredo and we're in Mag Bay, and that was a 2-hour drive. But I mean, that's just a small little bink of what there is out there.
Yeah, yeah. And trust me, there are spots still all over the Baja that no one's fished. That's like when I drive up the peninsula to go to the States, which I don't do anymore. I just stay here. Um, I drive up, I get into no man's land, I find an arroyo, and I drive down it. And when I get to the water, if there's fish there, heck yeah, I just found a new spot. If there's not,
Yeah.
keep going for another one. It
Yeah.
takes it takes a lot of preparedness, um, risk, because getting stuck out in the middle of the desert can go pretty bad. Um,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and you're not going to get help anytime soon. You should be fully fit out with all forms of communication, in reach,
Right.
whatever you can do to keep yourself safe. Extra gas, tires.
Yeah.
Always carry your tools. A hydraulic jack is a huge deal. Stuff like that. A generator. Like a.
How far are you traveling out in the side by sides?
Well, so I've got multiple options about how to do it. So my Tundra,
Okay.
sometimes if it's safe enough, I'll just rip the Tundra down and through there.
Okay.
I've got a toy trailer that fits one of my Polaris in it, and we can travel from with the Polaris in the trailer with the truck to a location that we feel is safe, or we negotiate with someone. Hey, this is going to be our home base.
Yeah.
I'll give you 500 pesos. Look after it. Make sure nobody breaks in,
Right.
and we'll leave that there. We'll set up home camp, and then we'll take the Polaris down to the fishing grounds.
Gotcha.
And those are more of my remote things that I don't advertise or post or show.
Yeah.
I've spoken to Aldo briefly a little bit about some of them. But yeah, I've got some tricks up the sleeve that I'm pretty confident nobody else knows.
That's
And I
awesome, man.
plan to keep it that way.
I love that. I love that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that's amazing, like kind of crash course on roosters. We got 5 more questions for you that we ask every guest. Before we do that, though, I just wanted to ask, like, how did because you're a Rio signature tire, which is super cool. Obviously, you're an
And I
amazing
feel
fly
like
tire.
this could be a whole show on its own,
We could
just
do a
talking
whole
about fly design.
100%, and
So
maybe
we gotta have you
should.
back on. We gotta have you back on.
Totally.
Good.
But how did the relationship with Rio kick off? Like, how did that start?
I'd always been admirable of Brita Fortis's style of tying flies. They're always like not too much, but not too little, and they're freaking cute too. And I'm a sucker for cute things. So I would communicate with her a little bit, show her my flies and stuff like that, and she really liked some of them and stuff. And then I think it was 2019 or during COVID or something like that. They hit me with, "Hey, we're developing an ambassador signature
Yeah.
tire program. Would you like to, take a look at it?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds cool." I looked it
Yeah.
over and I was like, "Shoot, well, these flies are doing me no good for me. Like if I can make a couple bucks off them, doesn't mean that everyone's going to go out and just start catching every single fish in the ocean because of my fly, you know?" So I'm happy I trusted that lunge. Of course, there's been challenges and stuff like that, creatively and whatever. But my main goal is to innovate and not replicate old patterns and call them something else. Um, a
Yeah.
lot of my flies are specific, like niche almost, but then they end up being used in different places, and people are like, "Holy crap, these things catch fish everywhere!"
Yeah.
And it's just pure innovation and design to make one thing look like many things.
Right.
And have it be accepted worldwide,
Yeah. It's super
waterwide,
cool. Yeah.
and
Well, I was catching bonefish last week in Belize with the Feczko shrimp.
the
There
shrimp,
you go.
The
yeah,
shrimp.
the shrimp.
So that rocked, and the Gills Gone Wild would smoke a muskie up here for sure.
Absolutely. That was one of my guide style flies that I developed in the Seychelles. It can
Okay,
cross
cool.
over for anything. I got a kudos from Yellow Dog recently saying, "Hey, thanks for making that fly. Like, it is the one. We sell a ton of them. It's simple. You can mess with it. You can
Yep.
cut it. It's
Yeah.
not too hard to cast for some folks." And that was kind of a chuff. I was just like, yeah, I was like, that's kind of cool. Those
Oh,
guys
sick, dude.
have a pretty big name and they like my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is neat.
And it caught me the crap out of fish when I worked in the Seychelles. So did the cheeseburger. So did the Triumph. And the rock mover wrasse worked well too. Can't
Yeah. The
remember.
cheeseburger's so sick, dude.
The
The cheeseburger.
cheeseburger is the ultimate. I'm obsessed with that thing. I've got so
It's
many
just,
new ones.
it's such a good way of putting it, like a fly that looks like many things, like,
Yeah, it could be anything.
yeah, like the cheeseburger just looks like, man, yeah, like
Just wanna eat it.
so buggy looking and
Yeah.
alive looking. It's a nice, great pattern, man. It's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So cool.
Yeah, dude, I had a bonefish in my hand with a shrimp in its mouth last week.
I love that.
That's true. They did a great job.
Yeah.
They did a great job with the trim. It came out exactly like mine. I finally laid hands on my own Trimps Rio Tide like a
Yep.
couple
Yep.
weeks ago. And
Yeah.
I opened the box and I was like, damn. I was like, they look just like mine. And they
Yeah,
did
that's true,
great.
right? Because you're designing for somebody else to tie them, right?
Yeah.
So it's
And I step by step them out and stuff, so you never
Yeah.
know. But I keep getting reports for 6 years since they've been sold. Man, we're catching the
awesome.
crap out of fish. We're catching the crap out of fish with these. Yet I had never physically held one. And then
Yeah.
when I recently got my own cheeseburgers, they did a great job. They're chubby, they're thick, they're freaking
It's awesome.
wiggly and gruesome,
Yeah.
and they were good.
So good.
You can clip the weed guards off them if you're fishing permit.
Yeah.
But the other thing that the weed guards do is they create like a headstand if you touch a snag, and then that curl
Totally.
tail is up freaking moving,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that'll draw a bite from a trigger or a permit,
Dude, for
or
real.
let's
Yeah.
just say a wrasse or a parrot or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's all the kind of stuff that I think of at 3 a.m. when I'm struggling to sleep.
There you go.
well,
Well,
Did I
like
put a
Aldo
bunny
said,
strip on that?
yeah, exactly. We've
was
definitely
that
got
enough
to
for Abbott's
do.
trip?
We've definitely got to do another show on just fly tying because I mean, yeah, the fly
100%. Let it
design-
go.
That's
a whole other bag of beans.
yeah, exactly.
I'll go on for
But-
hours.
we've got five questions left that we ask every guest.
Sure.
Every single guest gets these same 5 questions.
So I'm going to ask you right now. The first one is, what is your favorite fish and why? If you had to pick a favorite fish, what would it be?
And only one fish, like for the
You could
rest.
do fresh and salt.
Yeah.
Okay.
One fresh fish, one salt fish.
Ooh, this is challenging. I would have to say, for salt, that would be a toss-up between a California yellowtail with Real de Castilla, because not only are they fiercely strong, they feed on the surface. You can catch them on jigs, catch them on fly. They fight like hell. You can eat them.
Oh my
They're delicious.
God, that would be amazing.
I've put one on my body as well. I want all the strongest fighters along with me. And, sometimes they can be straight up dicks. Like, they won't eat anything. I've thrown in front of schools of hundreds of them, and none of them look. So that's exciting,
Yeah.
And then Kubera snapper, the ultimate challenge of trying to get one out of the rocks from the beach is pretty tough. Especially if you're like, not using a teaser where they're already up. If you're, fishing towards structure or a site, you see a head pop out or something like that, or you see one visibly, your odds are less because they know exactly where to go. They come out of the hole, go back in the hole. And, from a boat, you have an extreme advantage. So, yeah, I would say Kubera and yellowtail.
Love it.
For saltwater.
I love it. So what about for fresh?
Freshwater? Let's just say like United States type freshwater. I would have to give that up to the old common carp.
Hey.
I love myself a big greasy curb. Big old roly-poly snacking on whatever.
Yeah. That's a great answer. I love it.
And brook trout. Easy.
Yeah. There you go. Love a good brookie.
Brook trout.
Not Northeast.
I cannot like a brookie.
I cannot like a brook trout, especially if you're from the Northeast.
And landlocked Atlantic salmon too. Those are cool.
Yeah, they are. It's a tough one, picking the fave. Just go through all the awesome. Okay, well here's
favorite, and that one that's my favorite one.
Yeah,
and that one's my favorite too.
Number 2 of Mission Fish 5, number of the 5 questions. The second one is, if you could fish anywhere in the world right now, assuming it's gonna be the best fishing trip of your life, it's gonna be amazing fishing. Where would you go?
It is about 14 hours north of here on the Pacific coast, and it would be targeting a species called a white sea bass or a cabicucho.
Oh, cool.
And it's going on right now. I've got a lot of prep work to do.
Yeah.
Less than 2 weeks before guests show up. And then I've got a week and a half off, and I think I'm going to send it. Because
for the white sea bass.
White sea bass, yeah, and I want a thumper. I want like a 40-pounder.
And, dude, those are huge.
They're beautiful.
These things are crazy.
And they're so ghostly too. They're not easy to catch,
Yeah.
I don't want a little one, like
yeah.
I want a thumper, like most of us do. But I think I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, I'm gonna run up there. It's a long run, but I told everybody in San Carlos knows that if Jeff catches a gabicucho, we're gonna peso pluma his haircut, and that's where you you shave up the sides and kind of leave the mullet in the back.
Okay.
I love it.
You will become the Roosterfish.
Yes,
that's right.
Exactly. Yeah,
the
Roosterfish. Might already be.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, you might already be.
Well, that'll be sick, dude. So you're gonna go do the best trip that you could do. You're gonna go do that in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm really dying for. That's my nemesis. That's the one that I've haven't got.
Yeah,
haven't got.
Well, and, fingers crossed for you.
Hope so. Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, number 3 is, what is one of your best or favorite fishing memories? If you had to pick one.
Oof. Tough. Oh,
Maybe in a couple weeks it'll be the white bass.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'll likely be it.
Yeah.
Gonna be Cucho.
Let's see. Oh, this is a relatively easy one. It comes right off the top of the head.
Yeah.
So a couple years ago, a gentleman named Clay contacted me, and he was in town for a wedding in Cabo San Lucas. And he's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "I'm trying to get out there and fish." He's like, "Can you take me just for a day?" And I was like, "I'll bend for you just because you're only here for a day. You're not a guide or anything like that."
Yeah.
And sure, let's go. And he drove all the way up from Cabo at like 6 in the morning to come fish with me. And we didn't do so good, his he needed a lot of improvement skill wise.
Yeah.
And coolest dude in the world, sweetest guy, like so like a dear friend, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he mentioned coming back, and I said to him, I was like, "Yo, man, like I would love for you to come back, absolutely. But what I want you to do between now and then is really get your casting down. And I'm talking back cast too. I want you to be able to throw over your shoulder 70, 80 feet, easy, And he came back a year later, second day. I was doing kind of a stall move, waiting for the tide to push.
Yeah.
And a frigate flew over, and I said, "Hey, man, typically when there's a frigate, there's a large roosterfish or a predator along with." No longer than I said that, an absolute trough demon comes through. He lays down a shot,
Yeah.
plays it perfectly, fully locks a hardy on 30, and we get it. And it was like a proper 65, 70.
Wow.
On
And
30 pound, eh? That's so crazy to me. It's like, wow, like what
he
a
threw
wow.
up. It was so awesome.
Oh, no way.
He's going to
awesome.
kill me
That's
for this.
awesome.
Because he's coming back. He's I think 3 or 4 time returner now, and
That's amazing.
and he's accomplished the goal. So that says a lot about the fishery.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people
Totally.
are goal oriented to the point where it's one and done.
Yeah,
And I'm stoked. I get Clay back, and shit, I know it. We're gonna have fun.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
You're gonna have so much fun. You're gonna puke.
well, I almost have before from excitement, like when
Oh,
you
for
see
sure,
that
for
rooster
sure.
fish coming and your dude freaking doing everything right, your heart's in your throat, dude. You're
Totally.
it's beautiful. And he didn't even know how to feel. He was like, you know what? He's like, I just need like a little bit of time to process this one. He's
Yeah.
like, just sat there kind of like 1,000-mile gaze, like, and
Yeah.
that was a
Really
life
taking
changer.
life.
That was a life
Yeah.
changer fish for him.
Hey man, I think I almost puked when Mario landed my marlin this year.
Yeah.
I was like,
That'll do it.
Yeah.
what?
Super
The mind
cool.
melter.
It
It's a
really
mind
is.
melter. Yeah.
So sick.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4 is, why do you fly fish? Why do you keep going back out there?
I like to fly fish because it feels good.
I love it. Yeah, it does.
Friggin' feels good.
Oh, it feels
And
so good.
I like the intricacies of, messing around with different lines and different scenarios, structures,
Yep.
different like bellies, different like heads attached with flies with foam and lead on them at the same time, articulated so they don't know what the hell to do when they get in the water.
Yeah.
And I like the experimentation like that. Therefore, you can create like a sauntering freaking, hovering fly. Like I think musky guys like that kind of stuff. Smallmouth fishing for sure, like the hovery.
Yeah.
Like the pause doesn't really sink too much. That triggers a lot of bite. And for fishing pargo, they're much like a bass.
Yeah.
Snook are much like a bass in the same respect. So I'm always trying to experiment with different ways to initiate, a reaction, and that's essentially
nuances
why I
of it
love
are
fly
so-
fishing, and I can make it
Yeah.
all at my own little desk over
Yeah.
there that I cannot show you because you'd probably
Top secret
vomit.
shit.
Yeah, it's absolutely destroyed right now. That's my palate.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I feel that. I totally love that. Like,
Yeah.
just figuring things out and all the nuances to it is what kind of keeps it exciting,
Truly, and I've caught plenty of rooster fish myself. So on a day off, I'm gonna go mess with herbivores, surgeonfish,
Right.
weird stuff that I don't even know what it is. Like,
Yeah.
there's a
Totally.
spot, cast at it. And try to research a little bit into whatever that particular species eats and go from there. And try to make it as funky and wiggly as possible. Squiggly wiggly is kind of the style in which I I'm trying to exude.
Love it. Well, that is a nice lead into this last question. And also I'm very curious. The last question here is, if you were a fly, what would you be? Like, what fly pattern best represents you and why?
Ooh, black bunny leech.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So quick. Yeah. How come?
Easy.
Yeah. What about that fly? That
Black bunny leech
represents-
catch anything.
It's a really good point. It is like a
That's a
totally
really good point,
nuclear
yeah.
fly.
Black bunny
sure I've got-
leech. You know what I
Pretty sure
mean?
I've got a pike, a bass, a tarpon. I've like,
Totally,
I think
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
roosterfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Black
Cool,
bunny
man.
leech through and through.
I love it.
And I can vary hook size and stuff, right?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
black bunny leech, 100%.
I love it. I love
Oh,
it.
that's a great answer.
Bam. That's the 5 questions, baby. That wraps up the show. That's it,
Dude.
man.
What a
That's
pleasure.
it, Jeff.
Yeah.
Selfish. This is like, you were watching oh my god, Hot Ones, when he's like, look at that camera. This is this time. Where can people find you? How can people book you? How can people buy your flies? Shameless plug time. Go.
Okay, so my Instagram is @tothegills, spelt properly, @to the gills. I have a website, tothegills.net, that I never use. It basically just gives you an outline, and for legitimacy, I guess you could say.
Totally.
There are direct links on that page to a fly shop that will link you to all of Rio's valuable patterns. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to fulfill special orders. I just guide and work too much.
Yeah. You don't have to apologize, man.
Yeah.
You're busy.
However, just about every major fly shop is seemingly starting to carry the cheeseburger and the shrimp and the other ones, Dirty Mullet and Gills Gone Wild, which originally was called the Repeat Offender. Just so everybody knows, that's a sick name for a fly. Let's see, what else. Instagram is fine.
Yeah.
I prefer to handle all my business through email, so it's more, it's more orderly. And that email is jeffreyfezco@gmail.com. And should I
put
spell
that in
out
the
my
show
last
notes
name?
for sure.
Should I?
Oh, we'll
spell
put it all in the show notes so people can see it. And if you're listening to this, just look at the show notes. But yeah, dude, that's amazing. And thank you so much for coming on, man. This has been awesome. Like, it's been really cool just
an
to
awesome
hear
chat.
such a unique thing you got going on. And I think we definitely need to do it again, just to talk about fly design. But
Well, I
really
think
cool.
Mitchie and I got to figure out how to get down there.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, you
yeah,
do.
for
I'd
sure.
love to have you down there. We can make
That'd be
weird
sick.
noises all day.
Dude, that'd be great. I love making weird noises. Yeah, awesome. Sick, Jeff. Well, thank you, brother.
Heck yeah.
Have a good one.
You guys too. Take it easy.
And that's Jeff. Smashing fellow. Very cool
Such a cool
sounding
dude.
thing. Yeah. I need to go fish roosterfish. It sounds really
Same.
neat. I mean,
Him and I need a do-over because there were none, and we tried.
and
We caught a lot of other types of fish.
was the why and remind me, I know we did a whole show on this, but what was going on with the roosters? Why were they not around? You guys didn't have
I think they could just
conditions
on
were
that
unfavorable.
particular day the conditions were bad, and Jeff was saying like he think they pushed into deeper water.
And
But-
was that rooster fishing experience similar to sort of his Baja Beach thing, where he's riding side by sides and spotting fish and stuff? It's quite
No, you're on
different,
a
right?
boat for this.
On a
one.
boat.
So you're casting at the beach
Mhm.
as opposed to casting from the beach.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Of course.
But it's super cool. I mean, it would be rad to somehow.
catch one.
Well, yes, obviously, but like, I think you might be allowed to camp on that island, but there are no humans on that island.
Whoa.
We're in
Humanless.
Mag Bay because it's a nature preserve.
Very cool.
But it would be cool to like land a boat on there and then like march the beaches in like prime rooster time. But we caught a lot of other crazy looking fish like wrasses and
Someone got a
and
hogfish or something.
hogfish, bay bass. We mentioned on the podcast, I may or may not have got owned by a yellowtail. So like
Yeah.
that was cool.
It's very cool.
I got owned by something, but I don't know what.
A whale.
A hua. But yeah, no, going down to where Jeff has his full-time operation would be rad. And like burning the beach on side by sides, chasing roosterfish sounds like the most fun.
It'd be very cool. I'm so game for that.
I was surprised by how delicate might be the wrong word, but like how like the presentation of the fly.
100%. So was I. I was also surprised at the fragility of the fish. And like
Right.
he was saying, like, yeah, you gotta be you don't want to be too much, like, you gotta be careful about releasing them, keep them in the water. You don't want to, and if it's too long, like kind of musky like stuff, I was like, really? Dang. Like I always just assume like ocean fish, big, tough, can deal
Just
with
so
lots.
hardy. Yeah.
Yeah, like a little angler, like taking a little picture is not going to do much, but yeah, you got to be careful. They're soft fish, and also like the presentation, the subtlety of it, and also the retrieve. Like it's not necessarily just about like strip, go crazy like ocean shit. It's just like I don't know, delicate, almost freshwater-esque fishing style. Which is kind of cool when it's a 90-pound roosterfish.
Totally.
from the surf of the Pacific Ocean.
That's true. Yeah.
Kind of doesn't get cooler. Like to me, it doesn't get cooler than a rooster because they're just so unique. Like as we heard from Jeff, like geographically, it's not a huge range. They're so different looking from any other fish in the ocean. They get huge.
Massive.
How you catch them is so weird. Like from the beach like that, like just the program in Baja is very, very unique.
It's cool to know because all we were doing was teasing from the boat. It's cool that he'd prefer not to.
Yeah. Spot them and go cast.
Yeah.
Try to actually, sight fishing roosters. Yeah. And they could get huge. Like he said, the human, which is like a freaking massive.
Love that nickname.
Yeah.
I call him
rooster.
the human.
So cool. They're such a cool looking fish. Like you look at pictures of them, like the stripes and everything else. Like, oh my God, they're so badass.
Oh, they're unreal.
Yeah. Anyway, Jeff, thanks for coming on. No, he was feeling under the weather. Happy to report he's made a full recovery. He was worried he had a myriad of viruses flowing through him, and yet he still made the time to call in and do the podcast and deal with crazy uploading and stuff. So thank you, Jeff. We love you. What else is going on? I'm going ice fishing.
I just got back from Belize.
Oh, did we already talk about that? No, eh?
I don't think so.
That's right. You just got back. How was it?
Unreal, dude.
So there was way more bonefish than ever, eh? Like than before.
Okay, let's say overall, just to like
paint the picture.
Just to paint the picture versus our trip last year.
Yes.
It was colder. Was it cold? No, but it was colder. Like I would say even one morning we woke up and it was 12 degrees. So we had the jackets on.
Wow.
So what I learned later when talking to Mikey, our guide of 3 years now, we have a good little rapport there, is that they were mainly getting north winds from the north which chills everything down.
Because it's part of that polar vortexy thing that was happening over North America. Yeah.
And then, when I think most people go to Belize with permit in mind. Yes, it's a multi-species fishery, and that's something that we like. But I think a lot of the lodges and guides are there for permit for sure. So let's just talk about permit and get that out of the way. Yeah. Because we had great fishing, like the best fishing I've ever had. But
okay, so
we saw less permit than ever before. Yeah. Josh did hook one on the last day with Mikey. Unfortunately, broke it off. But there was really only one morning.
Really, I didn't know that he hooked a permit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God,
it's actually a really funny story. But
I'll keep them coming back.
Yeah, but in general, we had just the way the island is shaped because the wind. Okay, so Mike was saying if the wind blows in from the east, it carries the hot air from the Caribbean Ocean, and that's what warms up the water, and that's what brings in the permit.
Yeah,
like in bigger numbers. They're always there, but in bigger numbers. He says that you'll find them in deeper water now. Like off the reef and stuff, but they'll come up onto the flats when everything gets warmer. But we saw a whole heck of a lot of other stuff, and you know, like I was there with Tim, our buddy Tim Posner, had rented a house for the month on the north end of the island, and myself, Tim, and Josh on the fly, we flew down to essentially move Tim in and fish for a week, and it was awesome, man. Like Josh's big thing was like, I just want to see a sight cast to a bonefish and hopefully hook and land it, and that happened within the first like minutes pretty much. Yeah, it was crazy. We saw that first day, just to give maybe a quick day to day, you know, first day was like a bonefish bonanza. Like we saw hundreds and hundreds of bonefish. It was amazing. Like,
which is kind of wild because like when we were there last year, like didn't really see many. Like,
like a handful, flats.
You know. Yeah, like here and there you'd see one. It's like, whoa, a bonefish. Cast at it and it would just dip. Or like Keith would catch it or something.
Yeah, this is my third year there, and the first year we were there, we saw a lot of bonefish. Not this many, but we saw a lot. So when you guys were there with me, I was like, oh boy. But then we saw so many permit that I was like, okay, well, this is crazy too, you know. So yeah, the first day was just a bonefish bonanza. Like Josh was like, oh, if only I could sight cast. Well, his first cast was at 200 tailing bonefish at Tranquility Bay. You could see them. You could see all of them, clear as day.
How far out from the kind of like resort?
They were, you know, that concrete jetty.
Yep.
And so they were all in between that and the bar, like the restaurant.
Wow. So not that far out, really.
Well, it's funny because we were just standing on the concrete jetty, and I was like giving the lay of the land. I was like, okay, so this is Tranquility Bay. If we go south, this is where the Margaritaville is, and
you're like,
north.
Oh,
and then
shit.
And then we're like, oh shit. We look down. There's like 3 or 4 little bonefish, like just like meow 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 meow,
like tailing.
No, they were just like in the sand, deep in the sand. We're looking at them and we're like, they're casting at them. They're not really interested in the flies. And then I look left and I go, oh my God. And the ocean is just bonefish.
Oh my God. Wow.
And they're all swimming towards like very slowly swimming and tailing towards
they're feeding. They're just actively feeding this giant school.
Concrete jetty. So they're coming straight for us.
Oh my God.
And then Tim and Josh had their lines out already, so they put a cast on the school, and the school's passing the concrete jetty, and I see Josh's fly line in the school, and I'm like, this is really weird that they're not.
Yeah.
Usually they're really happy when they're in a school that big, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I go, Josh, are you moving your fly? And he goes, no. I'm like, dude, strip. And he does one strip and he's on. It was amazing.
Wow.
And then that was that bonefish I sent you the picture of.
Yeah. That's so sick. Honestly, like DIY bone fishing, like, you know, the other day we were talking about like what's our favorite fish to catch or whatever, and you after I said steel, you said bonefish. I was like, oh yeah, actually, that is really fun. Yeah,
it's really really fun,
especially DIY. You know, like just walk in and look in, and frig, that's awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah, not to spend too much time on this, but yeah, we had Josh had like the most amazing saltwater trip ever, and now he's like just never gonna. So we had
go back next year.
We had spectacular weather the whole time. You know, we had very low wind, or at least the wind was coming from a direction that was favorable for us. We had sun pretty much every day. Like it was so ideal. Like first day was like the bonefish bonanza. Josh saw schools of fish, tailing solos and pairs, flashing mudding fish. Like he saw it all. Second day we fished the Rocky Point, and we saw all those triggers again. You know, really hard to. I saw a school of parrotfish, which was amazing. And then we started spotting jacks in the surf, and then we kind of got obsessed with that. We caught more bonefish. It was amazing. We hooked some of those jacks and lost them all on poppers, which was super fun. Like you could see them surfing the waves.
Yeah.
You know, which was really, really, really cool.
They're best.
You know, and then the Airbnb had kayaks at our disposal, and so we took the kayaks into the back lagoon, which was super fun. And we caught baby tarpon and snook and mangrove snapper all in the mangroves. Like that was amazing. And then our guide day with Mikey was unreal. Like we started off in that southern chain of keys where you and I fished, but the glare was kind of weird and the water was kind of murky, and Mikey was like, oh, let's run to the mainland because we've been seeing a lot of fish there, like everything, like tarpon, permit, jacks. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. So we ran all the way to like basically Belize City, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Like we did the run that the plane flies over, which was cool. And then
That is far, yeah.
yeah, but not as far as you think. Well, at least not in Mikey's boat. And then it was like maybe 40 minutes,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And then, we get there, we're putting around for a bit, and then we just happen upon this fucking school of like 200 jacks. Not as big as yours,
Mm.
probably about half the size of yours. Your fish
So
last
sick,
year.
though. That's so dope, though.
And they just weren't, we caught 1, 2, and then they just didn't leave. So
Wow.
we were just caught jacks all afternoon, like on poppers. It was like unreasonably fun. And then
That's sick.
they to the point where like we had lunch and they still didn't leave. We're like, okay, well, you want to catch a few more? And then we went back
Really?
to those southern islands.
Mhm.
And looking for permit, which we did find some very picky schools,
Yeah.
like the change the fly, cast the school again, change the fly, that kind of like
Yeah.
dry fly fishing on the credit or something.
Yeah.
And then we keep working this flat, and a school of bonefish appears.
Yeah.
Josh is casting at them, and then a ray shows up, like a stingray,
Mhm.
and he's got 4 permit on it.
Yeah.
And Mikey goes, "Oh," he's like, "They're behind that ray," and I think Josh thought he meant more bonefish. So anyway,
Mm.
Josh picks up 1 cast, lasers it like
Mhm.
perfectly
Mhm.
to the tail of the ray. Crab lands on the tail of the ray. 1 strip. Josh is on. I'm freaking out.
Mhm.
I'm like both Mikey and I are like silently like, oh my God, like this
It
is his
ate.
first.
Yeah.
It ate, and then Josh like set like he was still setting on the jacks or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the line just snapped.
Dang.
And Mike and I are like, no. And
Yeah.
Josh goes like, oh, well, not a big deal. It's just a bonefish. And we're like, no.
Yeah.
And he's
That
like,
was a
we're like-
permito.
he's like, there were permit. And Mike's like, yeah, look at the bow of the boat. And they all swam by the bow
Oh man, that's so funny.
behind the ray. And he's like, no.
Man.
And he just like was kind of nonverbal for a while, which is
Yeah.
pretty funny. But it was an amazing trip, and we had a great
I
time.
mean, that's
and we
pretty sick,
stayed
dude.
in San Pedro the last night and went out for drinks, and it was really, really fun.
That's fun. Well,
Yeah.
we'll do it again next year, huh? And this time I'm coming.
Yeah, and you're ice fishing.
Yeah. So when you were in Belize, I was ice fishing. What happened here? I was out with a friend, Braden. We got stuck in the snow, then set up the hut on a windy day. I forgot the pegs for the tent, so that took flight. Fished for a good, solid day. Got a little pike. Really, really cold. Really hungry. Really scared. So yeah.
Scared.
Nah, it's been fun. I've been going out ice fishing
Really
a lot.
cold, really hungry. Really scared.
I'm gonna go out again in a couple days here, and really getting the most out of the ice season. Been exploring a lot, reacquainting myself with the valley ice fishing world, and it's
love
been
it.
super fun. Yeah. So
Why don't you go to Canuck to ice fish?
Not catching any jack or anything like that, but there's a couple trout lakes around here that I might think about.
Okay,
But
there you go.
a Canuck ice fishing trip would be fun. Now you're seeing cabins and stuff like that. That would be pretty cool if you could do it. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, this is.
I don't see why not.
I don't know. Sometimes they're weird about it. Like we close down for the winter, or who knows what.
Well, they're definitely not closed for the winter because they do a full winter program of
Skating and having fun in the snow
and cross country skiing and stuff like that.
Right.
And I guess obviously, we have to look at the regulations.
Of course.
But regulations aside,
I mean, there's a lot of trout around me. That was actually one of the things we tried to do the other day, but we got stuck in the snow and gave up. So, anyways,
oh God, these chalets are sick, dude.
let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
You can get everything from a very basic cabin or a yurt,
Yeah.
to just the most epic cabin ever.
Friggin' right,
Well,
man.
Papineau
The Papineau.
sleeps 20 people.
Imagine just me and you in there. So much room.
It would be like The Shining.
It would be. Which one of us would go crazy? We'd both be going crazy, wouldn't we?
Definitely.
Thank you, Jeff, for coming on the show. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We appreciate all that, and we hope you like the show. And that's it for me, Mitch. Aldo.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
All righty, we love you.
Love you.